Welcome to Terminal 9, a dreamlike world where memory, music, and identity blur into story. At the center is Strictly Elizabeth, a Greek chorus made up of many incarnations, singing through shifting styles and emotional states as the drama between character unfolds. Stephanie, Z, Liz, Cleo, and Hayden and others move through surreal cityscapes and haunted histories where songs are portals and furniture holds secrets, and every note hints at a deeper truth. Whether you're drawn to the pulsing clubs, the haunted streets, or forgotten gardens, Terminal 9 invites you into a universe where art, grief, and imagination collide and where no one leaves unchanged. Artist architect Jessica Elizabeth Davenport, founder and creative director of Terminal 9 and the visionary creator of the music project Strictly Elizabeth, is my special guest today. Her past works, including the 2021 album Contemporary Construction and the award-winning animated short What Happened to Stephanie, lay the groundwork for a larger vision, creating immersive, regenerative art rooted in empathy, storytelling, and belonging. Strictly Elizabeth invites you inside the portal where art becomes a mirror and sound builds the world. Welcome, Jessica Elizabeth Davenport.
Thanks for having me here.
It's nice to see you again. It's been many, many years. I follow all of your adventures and what your the incredible work that you're doing in the art world and the music world. And so pleasant. I was so surprised and so happy to reconnect with you in an email and with your new project here that we're about to talk about. So welcome back. It's how have you been in the years in between?
Well, it's been
Busy, besides
great.
busy.
We met during the pandemic, so that
Yeah.
was just such a strange and odd time. And, I feel like the world has, opened up and changed, and I've changed with it. And, a lot of the transformations that happened through my art and through releasing contemporary construction and the reception that what happened to Stephanie got has really helped me a lot and kind of helped me grow and become the artist that I am now. So it's exciting to be kind of out here talking to people now about the newest project that I have in Terminal 9.
Yeah, back to what happened to Stephanie. That was you won some awards and that really did well, right? On the short film festival circuit.
Yeah, yeah, it did. And
Congratulations.
especially Dances with Films was a real highlight, being part of that festival and that community of filmmakers and being seen that way as a creative, not only for my music, but also my visual storytelling, and the thrill of seeing it on the big screen there at the Chinese theater and just meeting a lot of new people and being able to explore a side of me that I didn't really know very well. And it really helped me find the intersection between music and architecture that up until that point had always kind of pulled me apart. It was always this divide, and I
Yeah.
felt, very conflicted about it. And then all of a sudden, I realized film was the convergence point. And that's where those two things met. And it really helped me integrate myself on a lot of different levels. So that was really,
Because architecture is your career, right? That's your job, as they say, right?
yeah.
And then,
Yeah, as they
or at
say.
that
I
time,
mean, yeah. And
and
it
then,
continues to be. I mean, it's also an art form,
mhm.
which I've certainly never forgotten. It's why my initial desire to pursue architecture started because I wanted to be an artist, and I appreciated the art form of architecture, you know? So, but I also always wrote songs. It's just something that's always kind of been a part of me. And so being able to be seen and heard and have all of these parts of myself exist together has been really great.
Who is your heroine in Terminal 9?
Well, there's two. There's Liz and there's Stephanie.
Okay.
So Liz and Stephanie were characters born from what happened to Stephanie. Stephanie is a young, kind of 20-something girl living in New York City, and Liz is a middle-aged architect. And so there's a little bit of fiction and there's a little bit of reality, but I think that there's also the universal archetypes that play out in these characters, and I lean a lot on mythology and other types of kind of world archetypes out there in the stories and the ways that we as human beings relate to each other.
Can you tell me about, let's say, Stephanie's birth? Meaning, how did she how did she come to you? How did she grow? How has she grown? How has her, how has she developed from her birth as
As a character in my
a
mind.
character in your mind? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, it all started with my first record, which was called Shelter in Place. And I wanted to create music videos that went with it. And in my mind, my songwriting has always been very multidimensional. And there's always a visual component to it as I'm writing. Sometimes it's different, but it's always been there. And I think I've learned through this process how to really capture that. And so the song Baby Come On is kind of the central theme of what happened to Stephanie. And that song is very old for me. I wrote that song when I was 23, something like that. So a lot of Stephanie was me kind of remembering through the lens of time and history. Who was I when I was writing that song? Like, what was that about? What was going on in my life, you know? And also some of the very real trauma that had happened to me. And at the time, I was reading a book about how trauma gets stored in the body. And I personally, as me in this real world, was doing a lot of very hard work about healing through that trauma. And so, kind of being able to revisit that through this fictionalized experience, and also being able to kind of tie in the experiences that I had had later on in life, which is
Mhm.
kind of where Liz comes in, and her being able to kind of see Stephanie from a distance and how they were able to interact with each other. It's kind of part of that inspiration. And then on the flip side, you know, as I said, talking about archetypes and other things, I kind of leaned into the story, the mythical story of Persephone, and you know her experiences in the dark underworld, and then coming to the light, and then being kind of dragged back into the underworld, and her mother Demeter, and her kind of relationship to the regeneration of the earth after it had been kind of torn apart. And yeah, that's
Were
that's all in there.
were they created out of your necessity? Some need that as you said, you were healing, you were searching, you were.
Yeah. I mean, in part, I just wanted to make a cool music video. I mean, really, honestly, I had this song that I really liked, and everyone was like, "Well, you should make, you know, you should go and make these videos you have in mind." And I just kind
and
of,
you
you know,
and you went to what you knew, what imagery
I
that
started with a PowerPoint presentation. I
your
really
deck.
did.
I did
Yeah.
look at your deck, not to give away too much here, but it's beautiful. You're a great, a great artist. Describe Terminal 9 for me and the listeners. Is Terminal 9 symbolic of something? And what is Terminal 9?
Sure. I mean, at its most simple, Terminal 9 was came from my desire to make a feature-length version of what happened to Stephanie, to get to know these characters more. And I had already written a whole body of work. I had a whole notebook that kind of went along with everything that I had been working through. So I already had the kind of raw material, and I wanted to, after kind of having some time to think about it and having everybody kind of talk to me about these characters and what they got out of it. I mean, especially some fans, audience members who I didn't really know at all who came to talk to me. It just really inspired me. I was like, okay, what would a feature length version of this be like? And so that has kind of slowly evolved into this universe of Terminal 9 that not only Strictly Elizabeth lives in with all the incarnations, but the characters of Liz and Stephanie we get to know on a deeper level.
When I was going through the book, the music, the lyrics, the videos, I was fascinated by your mind and and your thoughts. Is I started thinking, uh, is your imagination? I mean, if you had to compare it to something, is it like a wild vine that takes and does it take over your real world sometimes where you're living in your art and your music?
Well, I think that's the
Mm,
architect in me, because at its basic need, the architect imagines things that are not there and has to help everybody else see that vision and make it real, So, yeah, it's just a part of me.
mm, brilliant. It's a brilliant part. Fascinating. My special guest today, Jessica Elizabeth Davenport, or Strictly Elizabeth. Artist architect Jessica, founder and creative director of Terminal 9, and the visionary creator of the music project Strictly Elizabeth. You can find her on Instagram at Strictly Elizabeth and also strictlyelizabeth.com. Go there, join the story, join the adventure. The full 3-volume Terminal soundtrack is out for digital streaming on August 21st. Every Thursday, leading up to the full album release, a single will be released, introducing a different incarnation of Strictly Elizabeth. This Thursday, tomorrow, June 19th, you'll be introduced to the rap crew and the song Princess Palace, which is also our featured single by Strictly Elizabeth. At the end of the show, we'll play it in its entirety. All the music throughout the show today is from Strictly Elizabeth, from the film and from the album. You can check out the music video on YouTube and be sure to sign up for Strictly Elizabeth's newsletter for more information about performances, screenings, and pop-up events featuring comic songbooks available exclusively at the merch table at the shows. We'll be right back with Jessica Elizabeth Davenport.